Hey Braden, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well, Dr. Keener. Listen, we're already a handful of episodes in to Mentor Moments, and we just want to take this time to thank our guests and our listeners for continuing to tune in and listen to us and also the awesome guests that we have every single episode, and just continuing to support us.
Right on. We couldn't be more happy with the success we've had. And just a reminder, Mentor Moments is a collaboration between the Missouri Rehab Association Eastern Chapter and Maryville University's Rehabilitation Counseling Program. We'd like you to stay tuned for another episode of Mentor Moments.
We're changing people's lives, and facilitating that change in their life and being a part of that, and that's just really a fulfilling job in itself,
On this episode of Mentor Moments, we are welcomed by certified rehabilitation counselor and licensed professional counselor, Kathleen McCoy.
Kathleen is the Assistant District Supervisor in the St. Charles office in Missouri.
Well, Kathleen, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to meet with us and chat. We'd love to just get, a short little bio of your career and what has brought you to where you are today.
Sure. So thank you guys for having me today. I guess I'll start out. And when I graduated with my undergraduate in 2013, I started working for MERS Goodwill. And at the time, I was a discovery and exploration specialist. And so that was where I took folks out into the community, and we got to assess their skills, abilities, and interests, and determine accommodations for them to help them be successful in a competitive workforce. And so I did that for a couple of years. And then I was going through the master's program at Maryville, and I had to have a 20-hour-a-week internship. And so I had to look for another job opportunity because I couldn't do too much at one time. And so then I was thankful enough to get an opportunity with Preferred Employment Services, and I was able to work as a job developer. And a job developer actually helps with, helping that client with individuals with disabilities obtain and maintain that employment. So helping them with a resume, practice interviewing, reaching out to employers on their behalf and advocating for them, and just helping them get acclimated to the job with maybe they need job coaching supports or different accommodations on the job in regards to their first job or their career job, and just seeing them through, just being that support for them along the way to ensure that they were successful. So I did that for a while. Then I graduated and I got a job offer with Voc Rehab, and that was always my dream job and my goal. So then I started working for Voc Rehab. It was a lot different than working for a community rehab partner because our caseload sizes were a little bit higher. So I had to get used to that at first, but I started with transition, mobility, and general intake on my caseload. And I feel like I was drawn to more of a transition population to serve. And so then I started as a full-time transition counselor. And I loved working with the students in the schools, and then did that for about 4 years. And then there was an assistant district supervisor position that became available, and I just decided to go for it. So that's where I am today. I'm the assistant district supervisor of the St. Charles VR office.
Well, Kathleen, so I've known you for a few years now, and I don't know if our leadership undergrad course was the first time I met you, but I still see you in that class sitting next to Ashley, kind of, facing front. But so, where do you trace your sort of helping professions, counseling, working people with disabilities? Where did you get that sort of original drive or inkling that was going to be your career path?
Yeah, so I knew that I wanted to help people in counseling, and I wanted to help people. I just didn't know what population of folks I wanted to serve, what avenue I wanted to go down, but I liked Maryville University, and I started taking the rehab courses, and I was just hooked. And to be honest with you, I think it was a lot to do with the faculty. I mean, obviously you, Dr. Keener, were a huge influence on me, and then also we had a couple other adjunct professors that had significant disabilities, and one of a couple of them were individuals with quadriplegia that were teaching our classes, and it was just amazing to me to see hear their story, see how independent they were in the community, and coming from a small town, I wasn't really exposed to a lot of things, and I think that after having that experience, I was like, wow, this is something that I want to be a part of.
Yeah, I love that. Also coming from someone also that comes from a small town, I definitely understand that piece of like, wow, there's this whole other world that's available and that is, uh, most at need, which I love. I love a lot. So I think we'd love to hear a little bit about you. So what would our listeners not expect from you that has helped you in your job?
Sure. So, some people know and some people don't know, but just a couple years ago, I moved out onto our family farm and I've acquired a lot of random farm animals. And I think that that just it really helps me in my self care. I get out of work and I can go home and see like 30 chickens in a field, pet a cow, whatever, So, but that's my jam. And I think that it's so important that everybody just has their own outlet. It doesn't matter if you're in like a helping professions field, just anywhere, if it's like running, biking, getting your nails done, whatever, just to have that outlet is so important with your own mental health.
Yeah, you light up when you say that, Kathleen, and that makes me think of when we got the new Missouri Rehab Association T-shirts. You took a picture with your cow, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a classic picture, right? So awesome. Well, tell us a few more great things about your job and working for Missouri Vocational Rehabilitation.
Yeah, so I chose to work for Voc Rehab. I mean, we just have a great mission and vision. It's to empower people with disabilities through employment and transform lives through a great VR experience. So I mean, right there is like we're changing people's lives, and facilitating that change in their life and being part of that, and that's just really a fulfilling job in itself. And so that's why I think it's great to work for Missouri VR. And just a couple side perks. I mean, they obviously, offer your benefits, your medical, dental, vision. You can get vested after 5 years and be eligible for a pension in retirement. The state holidays, which are a great perk. And also they assist with supervision towards LPC licensure. And then continuing education, we can go through trainings to become a lifelong learner. So that is why I think it's so great to work for Missouri VR.
Well, more importantly, Kathleen, why is it important to work for St. Charles, Missouri Vocational Rehabilitation? I know why it's special, but our listeners need to know how awesome it would be to work there.
So, I mean, I cannot brag enough about our team. We have the best group of ladies that work in our office right now. And just, I think it's so important that the agency and our office, we put family first. I mean, that's huge. And so and we always have each other's backs. We always help out whenever somebody's out or needs anything. We're always willing to just do other things that as needed to help in the community. Some of us are part of MRA, some of us help out with baskets for MRA for fundraising events, and just like we all have this passion to help others and then just be there for each other. So that's why our team is so strong, I think, in our office.
I kind of want to backtrack to what you said about how, in this role, in this team, you guys are changing lives. I'm curious of if there are any success stories that come to mind just right off the cuff, right off the top that you can think of for our listeners.
Sure. Yeah, I think just for me, like something that stuck with me is just a client that I've worked with. She's been around my age and she had Friedreich's ataxia and it affected her mobility over time, and it's progressive. And so over time, we've been able to help her secure employment, with an employer in more of like a customer service position, and helped her with a driver's evaluation and a vehicle modification so that she could drive to work independently. We also did a home modification for her so that she could, live independently and get ready for work. And just, I mean, she is so forever thankful and grateful for services. And I'm just thankful to be a part of her life and to meet her because she's such an amazing person. So that is probably my greatest success story for working with VR so far.
Yeah, I also feel that way too, that people are enriching my life, that I'm a better person for getting to know all the people in our community and whatnot. So yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. So being in the Voc rehab field for so long, I'm curious if there are any tools or resources that you'd like to give a shout out to, or anything that's been a real game changer in your practice.
Gosh, I just think that like utilizing your staff, I mean, and just your network system. I mean, there's so many resources out there that like I don't even know about, but we get to meet other folks in the field and they used to work in this employment or know this here or there, just network. That's just the biggest thing, and just problem solve cases with folks and get to hear their thoughts about things because they may have other resources. So sorry, it's hard to answer that one, but that's the best thing I can come up with is just utilizing your network.
Yeah, well, no, I think that's a great answer because people are, what your answer is people, the people that you're working with, and that is always, I think, the greatest resource that you can utilize for sure.
Now that hopefully we're coming out of the pandemic, have you what trends are you seeing, or have you already seen, or kind of shifts in the workforce?
So a huge, shift for us with the pandemic is we've learned that, we can do things a little bit more virtually and electronically than we have before. We've been, I'm so proud of where we've come in such a short amount of time, to be able to offer virtual services and come together for folks with disabilities. I think that I would hope to see more of that flexibility in the future as well. So I'm just excited to see where things are going to go. But that has been a huge trend, is more of like the virtual services for folks.
Yeah, that's definitely what we're sort of hearing with just again, the pandemic sped up our comfort level with using more and more technology, because obviously, Zoom wasn't created because of the pandemic or Skype, but again, they were just all enhanced or the other kind of video platforms, and it's always exciting to see what the future will bring.
So you mentioned previously being a member of MRA. I would love to hear a little bit about, first of all, what brought you to the Missouri Rehabilitation Association Eastern Chapter, what was the draw to it, and then what has it looked like being a member?
Sure. So I know that Dr. Keener really pushed it when we were in school, and I think that's where it started. Just kind of wanting us students to get more involved, and I did, and I started as a student in 2014, I believe it was, and just was a part of the board member. I think I was secretary at one point, and then did some media for a little bit. But I just think I wanted to do it too, just because I really wanted to network in the community, see what was out there for myself. I think now being a part of it, I did have to step out for a couple of years to have my boys, but now that I'm back in it, I just see the true value in it, and that we can work as a small team in our Eastern chapter, but make huge differences for the community. We put on those fundraising events to help out with like the Barbara Parker Scholarship for folks with disabilities in need, to help them get means for their needs, and just, having those friendships over the years too, I think is really important for myself as well. So I just strongly encourage other folks to join and be a part of it, because it really is a neat little team that we have right now.
Kathleen's being a little modest. She is soon to be the president-elect of the Missouri Rehab Association Eastern Chapter. So maybe we're hoping for a little bit of State of the Union address for you right here. Seeing that, what's your vision to evolve MRA Eastern Chapter? Our board members, our people want to hear, when they want to hear your message.
I just think it's a huge team effort. It's not just one person. It is that, and I know Marissa's a great president right now, and it's going to be really hard to follow in her shoes. But I'm just so excited to work alongside everybody and continue different types of fundraising events. Broaden out and see what we haven't done before, if we can do something new, and just like capture more folks and stuff. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I think again, MRA Eastern Chapter is a prime example of the pandemic as well, that I think, again, we're trying to get back to in-person events, but we're not going to shy away from virtual events. And again, kind of how do we best match our community needs, again, both doing in-person, virtual type events. Yeah, again, just to support the mission.
I know that previously we were talking about the CRC exams and the NCE exams, and I know that I had previously asked you if you had any advice for those students that may be taking those exams, but now I'm thinking, well, we probably might have some listeners as well that may be getting ready to take those exams. So I'm curious if you have any advice or thoughts for students that are preparing for those exams or just prepping for, I guess we'll start with those tests, perhaps.
Yeah. I just think, like, whenever you're in the hot seat taking the exam, just trust your guts. Like, go with your first choice. Don't second guess yourself. And then I just think that that's so important. And then just, you can just breathe, take a minute. If you're struggling on a question, move to the next, flag it, and then come back. You don't have to just answer and keep going. So, and then just in preparation for it, the whole process, it seems, when you're looking at the big picture, it seems like kind of daunting, and so just taking things step by step is the best advice I have. Like, don't look at the big picture and overwhelm yourself. Just take everything step by step, and before you know it, you can do it.
Mm-hmm. I can see how that would apply to your job now, working with clients, taking things step by step. Because I'm certain that you're probably working with clients that are thinking, how am I going to tackle this huge thing that is employment? I could see how, breaking it up, partitioning it, triaging it. I could see how that would translate.
All right, Kathleen, this is your time to shine, to really lay some wisdom out on our listeners. So I know you've given a few tips, but what is your mentor moment?
My mentor moment is, if you're thinking about taking the NCE or the CRC, go for it. Because I took my CRC right after I graduated and was so thankful that I did that, because the information just, it was just fluid. You get out of school and it's all fresh. But I waited to take my NCE. And with 2 kids later and being 5 years post-grad, it was challenging. And so it is still doable, though. And so, like, I also want to encourage people that, were in my shoes, that waited, that you can do it. There are resources. There's the audiobooks. There's the Rosenthal book. And just, even if it's just a couple pages a night, before bed, or if it's listening to an audio, on the way to work, just taking the time to do it is going to better yourself in the long run with career advancement or just other opportunities. So if you're thinking about it, just do it. And if you're happy to talk about the process, I am more than happy to talk to somebody and try to encourage other folks to do it as well.
Love that. Yeah. Awesome words of wisdom there that, again, we'll be able to touch our listeners. So, well, Kathleen, thank you for being a guest. We're excited for our listeners to meet you, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
So if you're listening to this, that means that you're listening to Mentor Moments. That means that you're probably listening on either Spotify or Apple Music, or maybe you're listening some other way. We just want to recommend that you continue to listen. Tune into some of our previous episodes and stay tuned. Subscribe to us because we'll have plenty more episodes coming your way as well.
In addition to the podcast, we have 2 other ways for you to stay connected with the Missouri Rehabilitation Association Eastern Chapter and Maryville University's Rehabilitation Counseling Program. We are proud to announce the creation of a YouTube channel and a blog. Both the blog and the YouTube channel will have all things related to the Missouri Rehab Association Eastern Chapter and Maryville University's Rehabilitation Counseling Program. Check us out.